Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 6th of November 2019. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, which you can also check out on a daily basis. We throw out different analysis throughout the day, so feel free to check us out here every day. So, but for now, guys, let's jump quickly into the charts. Now, the first one on attention here is the CAC40. So the French index is having a nice time of its life right now, or should I say this year. It's pushing higher. It's creating new highs this year. And as you can see how steep this is, so overall, of course, it's trading above and it's nice kind of medium term almost medium term upside support line taken from the low of the 15th of August, but at the same time it is pushing nicely here to the upside while trading above this other upside support line here taken from the low of the 9th of October. So this is shorter term one, a little bit shorter term one, but as you can see, the index is strongly pushing nicely to the upside. So again, of course, for some probably this could be a shorting opportunity at some point, but for now, looking at this 4-hour chart, in a way we don't see any kind of reversal signal here that could kind of drag this one a little bit lower. In a way, if we start seeing a push back below this little territory right here near the 5,833 zone, if we see a reversal back below this, then we could aim for a bit of correction here to the downside. We could maybe test this short-term upside support line taken from that low of the 9th of October, and then we would take it from there, because as long as this upside line remains intact, we will continue targeting the upside. So this is, of course, in the scenario if we get a drop below the 5,833 zone, because if it remains above that, then, well, to be honest, it could continue drifting higher. Now, in terms of higher levels here on this one, you can see I've got a level here at 5,882, but for this one I need to jump back into a daily chart here and kind of show you, and probably that even it could be a weekly. I do apologize. Yes, that's going to be a weekly chart. So you can see where we are. It's not the all-time high for this index. I mean, it seems that the index is kind of moving towards levels last seen in November of 2007. So again, it's quite interesting here, because as you can see, this is where the market peaked. This is where before this subprime crisis, and then we had a small, a decent slide lower here. So in a way, it could continue pushing higher here. It could in a way test this 5,882 zone, which marks the high of October 2007. But of course, be very careful here. Looking even at the weekly chart, you can see how overbought we are even on the weekly. So, but that said, I mean, it could continue pushing higher. We've been overbought in here back in the beginning of 2019 here, as you can see on the weekly, but it continued to push further north. So in a way, that's why for now we're gonna just stick to the upside. And coming back to the 4-hour chart again, if we see a drop below the 5,333, then yes, we will consider possible move lower, but this move lower could be just part of a little correction before another leg of buying. If this upside line starts breaking and we see the price falling below this little territory right here at 5,778 zone, marked by the high of the 31st of October and the high of the 1st of November. So if we see a drop below this, then yep, we will consider a bit of downside. We will aim for slightly lower levels. But we'll be very careful still because, as you can see, the index is still trading above this kind of medium-term upside support line taken from the lows of mid-August. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. This is going to be our downside scenario from here, and as long as it remains above that upside line, we will stay positive. Gold. Quick mentioning of this one, gold. So I talked about gold yesterday, and basically this is what I was saying. I talked about gold yesterday in my Traders Espresso, and I was calling out this level right here near the 1495 zone. So I said if we see a drop below this, then this could lead to further declines. Then during the Traders Traders Tea Time, I looked at gold as well. We were hanging around here, around the 1489 zone, roughly around there. And what I was saying that in a way we could see a bit of correction, but if as long as it remains below this 1495 or even this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, we will continue targeting the downside. So in a way, this is what could be happening here. So as you can see, the commodity is below its pivot, today's pivot, which is roughly around the 1491 zone. So roughly around there. So as long as it remains below this, then there is still a chance for the bears to push this one further south. Further south for now, we will aim only for the 1475 zone, roughly around here, and then we'll take it from there. See what he wants to do after. Again, guys, for now, be very careful here. Given the sharp slide that we had yesterday, yes, we could see a bit of correction, but if as long as it remains below the 1491 zone or at least below this 1495, then yep, we will continue targeting the 1475 zone. If we get a push above the 200 EMA here and above all of these EMAs, then what we'll do here is we'll keep an eye on this little low of the 1st of November, which is roughly around the 1503 zone. A nice push above this could, in a way, kind of raise that interest among the bulls again, or should I say among more bulls, and we could then see this one pushing to the upside. But for now, everything's looking more negative than positive. DXY, quick mentioning of this one. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I've talked about this yesterday. Basically, what I was saying that in order for us to consider higher levels, and not only that we needed to see a break of this downside resistance line, but also a push above the 97.90 level here. As you can see, I've talked about this as well. So basically, if we see a push above this is what I was talking about yesterday. If we see a push above the 97.90, this could travel higher, but it could get a hold up near the 200 EMA, so which happened yesterday. That's wonderful. So we're having a bit of retracement, but as you can see, the price is kind of stalling near this 97.90. So in a way, still all this is kind of leaning more towards the upside. Everything's looking quite positive still. So as long as it remains above this 97.90, then yep, we will continue aiming for the upside. Also, just for that extra confirmation, if we get a push above the this little territory right here, the 98 zone, then yep, we would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could target the 98.20, 98.42. So yep, but again, like I said, for now everything's looking quite positive for DXY, unless it starts dropping back below this downside line, and a drop below the 97.47 zone could in a way lead the index towards these recent lows here near the 97.11 zone. So, but for now, it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table. Litecoin, something that we've mentioned here on our JFD account here on TradingView. This idea that we've posted here. So if we did get a break above the 61.30, then yep, we will aim aim for higher levels. Initially, we'll target the 64.09, which happened perfectly, but our main target is going to be around the 67.25 zone. So in a way, it's kind of lean. It's moving in that direction. So if you are in this, so I just wanted to quickly show you. This is when we posted this on the 31st of October. So we were still hanging around kind of below this little short-term downside resistance line. Or should I say, we were kind of inside this little falling wedge, or if you want to call it a bullish flag. So as you can see, yep, it broke it to the upside and traveled higher. So now it's kind of moving nicely to the upside. For now, the way we would play this one out, given that we already have our break here and we are in profit, to be honest, we would shift our stop loss just maybe to break even here, just in case this suddenly reverses back to the upside, and then yep, we will kind of be very careful here, guys. So I hope it doesn't want to shift, but anyway, so basically, guys, I would really recommend to shift the stop loss just to kind of to break even here, just in case, like I said, this suddenly reverses back down. In terms of the downside, for us to consider lower levels, a drop below the 57.15 zone. This is what we would need to see before targeting slightly lower areas. NZDJPY. I talked about this one yesterday and my trader's tea time. So I was saying that first of all, I will reiterate everything. Before I was saying that keep an eye on this level here near the 69.95, because if it holds, we could be getting ourselves a nice range. For now, everything seems to be kind of moving in that direction, that we are getting ourselves a nice range here. Then yesterday I've mentioned on my trader's tea time that keep an eye on this little short-term sensitive upside line, because if it breaks and we see the rate falling below the 69.47 zone, this increases the chances of a further move down towards the 69 level. So for now, everything's kind of working out nicely like that. So everything's moving towards the 69 zone. Again, this is going to be very interesting to see what he wants to do near that 69 zone, because if it wants to break it, then it could end up moving towards this upside support line, this tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 2nd of October. But if it stalls around here and then rebounds, then yep, it would just confirm this nice range here. So that's why, guys, for now, let's keep an eye on this one. It's moving nicely to the downside. The target for us right now is the 69 level, and then we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do. If it breaks it, yep, further declines are possible, but if it rebounds, then we could be getting ourselves a nice range here. So that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this idea. AUDUSD, quick mentioning of this one. So this one's at a tricky spot. And on one hand, it's actually trading above two upside lines here, as you can see. Both are a bit tentative, but nevertheless, for now we're going to keep them on the chart. So one being the one's taken from the low of the 2nd of October, and the other one's, the shorter one, is taken from the low of the 16th of October. So you can see that the shorter one right now is getting broken, but of course, yes, everything's kind of looking a little bit to the bearish side here, but to be honest, a drop below this 0.6873 level, that's what we would need to see in order to get comfortable with slightly lower areas, because in a way, we've seen this happening many times where it drops lower, it breaks this upside line, but kind of fails to move below, fails to create a lower low, and then reverses and pushes back to the upside. So that's why, this line here, together with this other one, the other upside line, both these lines are tentative. So yes, we will keep an eye on them, but mainly we'll focus on support and resistance levels here. So that's why, guys, if we see a further move lower, yes, wonderful for the bears. Keep your eyes on the 0.6873 zone right here. A drop below this could lead towards the 0.6845 first, and then maybe towards the 0.68008 level around there. But to be honest, we'll reevaluate everything and we'll see how it performs around here, and then we'll consider either this level or maybe something higher here. But again, like I said, for now everything's looking quite interesting here. I would say I wouldn't say bearish or bullish, but interesting. So we'll wait for a confirmation break either below the 0.6873 zone for the downside, and for the upside, we would like to see this one pushing back above the 0.69 zone in order to consider at least a move back towards the 0.6929 zone, or should I say 0.6930 area, around roughly around here. And like I said, yep, then we'll consider maybe higher levels again. But for now it's kind of stuck here. So let's wait for that confirmation breakthrough one of these levels. USD-CAD, quickly on this one, I've talked about this recently, and basically initially I was drawing ourselves a nice flag here. So right now at this point, I mean, we can actually try to maybe get back to the flag idea, but it's going to be not a very ideal one. But what you can do here is you can definitely draw this little downside resistance line taken from the high of the 30th of October. So very short term, very and I wouldn't say that it's a tentative one, because we had already 3 touches here. So but what's more important here, that the same level that I've talked about previously, still the same level for a breakout remains. So around the 1.3185, that's what we need to see in order to get comfortable with slightly higher levels, because this way the rate would be placed above its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and then yep, more buyers could be joining in and potentially driving this one towards the 1.3240 roughly around here. So 1.3240 zone. So yep, that's what we're going to be targeting, but we need that confirmation break first. So for now, yes, it's trying to make its way higher, but as you can see, yesterday it did the same thing. It also tried to make its way higher but failed and then sold off. So that's why until we see that break, we're not going to do anything here. In terms of the downside, we're still sticking to the same conservative approach here for the downside, waiting for a drop below the 1.31 before aiming for lower levels. And the last pair for this session is going to be euro dollar, and that's perfect. So yesterday and or actually over the past few days, kept talking about this level here. So basically what I was saying yesterday in my morning video, that if we get a drop below the 1.1103 or 1.11 zone, then yep, this could increase the chances of a further move lower. Yesterday during the traders tea time, we were hanging around here somewhere around the 90 zone, the 1.1090. And what I was saying, that even if, let's say, if it decides to retrace back up here a little bit, as long as it remains below the 1.11 zone, then yep, we will or below this downside resistance line, we will continue targeting the downside. Our target is going to be around the 1.1163. We've managed to get a perfect hit of that, from which, as you can see, the pair rebounded and kind of pushed back to the upside a little bit. But as you can see, it's getting held by the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So in a way, everything's kind of looking a little bit more bearish for euro dollar. But the only thing is that here, at this point, we will probably wait for a drop below the 1.1063 before examining slightly lower areas, because in a way, given the steep down move here that we had yesterday, there could be a possibility to push a little bit higher here, maybe go for a little higher correction here. But to be honest, as long as it remains below this downside line, we will continue targeting the downside here, guys. So if it starts breaking above this and starts pushing above the 1.1127, or even better, the 1.1140, then yep, only then we will consider higher levels. We could reevaluate these levels here for the upside at later stage, if, let's say, if it continues to drift here somewhere, let's say it starts moving sideways a little bit. then it would the chart would shift a little bit more to the right, and then maybe we could consider this 1.1103 as a potential breakout point. But we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. First, we're going to target this 1.1163 zone. If we get a drop below this, this could open the path towards slightly lower levels. This would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, we could then aim for the 1.1021 or even the 1.10 zone. So again, for now, be very careful here. If this decides to push back above the 200 EMA, yes, we could go for a little bit of correction here, but again, be very careful because of this downside resistance line here. So as long as it remains below this, everything's kind of leaning more towards the downside. So, okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me later on at my trader's tea time today, and that's 14:15 GMT, we'll have a look at some of these instruments again. We'll see how everything got along. And as always, guys, I hope you have a beautiful trading day, and stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and don't overtrade. And yeah, I hope to see you later on in my trader's tea time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.